to another week of Let's Talk. I am your host, author Dre Lett. Thank you once again for joining me. I know you could have been anywhere, but you decided to log in and watch my show. So thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we have a very interesting show. Tonight, we're going to be talking about hot topics, things that are going on, and things that will be of interest to you as it is to myself and my special guests. But before we start, I want to tell you, as I do every week, you can purchase my books online at my website on www.dtlproduct.net or on Amazon. You can watch the show every week on Facebook Live on my author page named Dre Lett on DTL Productions, as well as on Instagram under author underscore Dre Lett and YouTube as well. It can be found under Let's Talk with author Dre Lett. So, with further ado, let's get right on into the show and bring on my guest. She is a very good friend of mine. She is a D9 Divine 9 family member, and she is an educator. She is a phenomenal woman, and she's always on top of the current events. And her and I, we always have great, interesting conversations. So, before I bring her on, let me just also let you guys know that tonight you can dial in. I put the phone number on top of the subject line. You can dial in, and audience participation is welcomed. And we want you guys to chime in on some of the topics that we're going to discuss. But keep in mind now that we may all not agree, but your views and opinions are welcome as long as we don't curse or get belligerent. And just state your first name. So I'm gonna bring on my first guest. Her name is B. Again, she's my girlfriend. So let's give her a warm welcome. Let's bring her into Let's Talk. I clicked on the link. We're just waiting for her to click to join. Here she comes. Hey! It's gonna take a minute for your audio. Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted. There we go. Hey, girl. Everybody, this is my girl B. I call her BB. Thank you for coming on Let's Talk. I was just telling the audience that we always have these interesting conversations where we be talking about hot topics, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but they be in-depth conversations. And I wanted to bring you on because you always have such an awesome insight into topics. So how's your day been so far? Is it Miss Educator?
Oh, it's been a little strange,
Uh-oh.
but
But,
wonderful.
but you made it through.
Yeah,
I know that's right. So
yeah.
let's get into our first topic, which is called, and I struggle with the pronunciation. I think most people do, systemic racism. I had to practice on that, systemic racism, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Let me tell you what I think about that with everything that's going on, right? With COVID-19 and the leadership and the elections and all this craziness. Um, I think that it does exist. There is of course, we're not going to mention any names, but there is an individual that's part of leadership of the United States, and he went on CNN and he actually said that he does not believe that systemic racism exists in the police form with police officers. And I just cannot believe that he would say something like that. I do believe that it exists, simply because we have stereotypes and people tend to be judgmental of others, and the police are human like everyone else. But I think sometimes they take it to the 10th degree, too far beyond. And I do believe it exists. It's got to stop. How do we make it stop? I believe by voting, putting somebody in the office that's going to take into account that it exists, and trying to nip it in the bud some sort of way. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, um, I believe that people need to be trained on how to react towards certain things. Um, and I think it's not enough, especially within our community, that we're not trained enough on how to react. I mean, with all of the incidents that have occurred, and I would have to say most of those people have had situations that happened prior to.
Yeah.
They've had things that have happened before.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have records or what have you. So it's not to say that no one should get shot or no one should get beat down, and a lot of people may not agree. Well, what was that? What does that constitute for somebody getting shot or getting beat down? But the thing is, your reaction has an action.
Right.
That's the way. Your
Right.
reaction has an action. If you acted in the proper manner, then a lot of times these actions would not transpire. you know um I just think that a lot of people, especially, a lot of people are just hot headed and they need to really just learn how to react towards the police officers. Like I said before, we're in the South, we're in Georgia. We're not gonna say where we are particularly, but like I say, these two things work very good.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to use them. They think that is, oh, that's just too, that sounds too slavery, but you're trying to live.
Right.
One thing is, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
Those two things take you a long way. When the police come, hold your hands up. Yes, sir. Don't question. Be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, yes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but yes, is it systematic racism amongst? Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But for for me, I'm black. So
Mm-hmm.
you cannot really you can't really say what they're doing. You have to realize what you do and live.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other thing is there's systematic racism amongst ourselves as far as black people.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
true.
know,
That's true.
um, I don't have it particularly in my family, and I thank God for it. Well, we never was like, oh, you're light skinned or you dark skinned. We don't have that situation, and we definitely, for the most part, don't have the classism either. But there's systematic racism within our own community, within our own
Absolutely.
culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Miami, so this is just my opinion.
And and and,
But
and I, I agree with you. I disagree with you to a certain degree, but I agree with you in that we have got to do a better job, right? I know that when we're pulled over or we're harassed, it infuriates us, right? We get angry, we get mad. But what we have to learn to do is just calm down and live, right? Live. And
right,
if they've done something wrong, right? If they take you to jail, go to jail, bond out, and sue.
right,
During the days of Dr. Martin Luther King, one of the most pivotal things within the civil rights movement was the Montgomery bus boycott, right? So when Montgomery saw that African Americans weren't riding the bus and they weren't getting that coin anymore, it opened their eyes to, wait a minute, what's going on here? So in regards to that, hit them in the pocket. So if they're doing something wrong to you, and you disagree, I know it's going to be hard to just say yes sir, yes ma'am, because you mad, but just go, just yes sir, yes ma'am, go with it, don't mouth off, go on and get locked up, bond out, and sue and get paid and make a difference and vote. So, that's just my opinion on it too. I mean, and you're right, within our own race, we do it to ourselves as well. Black on black crime, shooting and killing each other, the craziness. Because they look at that and they say, well, they don't even value their own lives. So,
right.
and it really is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And I know a lot of people may have different opinions. And I'm just looking at the comments that are coming in as we're talking. And some people may say, no, that's crazy. I was watching a video on Facebook the other day, social media, and it was a lady, she was staying at a hotel and with her kids on business, and the manager came out and said, are you a guest here? And she started mouthing off at her, why are you asking me? So the lady called the police. Here come the police. The police asking her, I ain't giving you my name, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I would be mad too. Just tell the lady, yes, my name is ABC123. Here's my room key. We good. Let it go. And guess what? Make a mental note. Don't ever stay at that establishment anymore. Right? Sue if need
Oh,
be.
and I would say the other thing is, you really need to learn how to write. Look at the
Mm,
look at their website and comment,
yes. Rate.
because they
Mm-hmm.
do that. Rate
Mm-hmm.
them. Look at
Mm-hmm.
everything that they could possibly be on. I have a cousin that we stayed in a hotel, and the hotel was horrible. And she wrote everybody and everything
Mm.
possible, and they basically said, hey, they would call, she was calling at first, and they were calling her like, hey, how you doing, I'm sorry that she had a bad experience, such as a,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't want no bad ratings. So just go and write, and
Exactly.
in actuality send the boss an email.
Mm-hmm.
The best power is
In the
just
pen. That's it.
pen.
In the pen. In the
And
pen.
I talk about in this particular pen, I'm talking about in the email and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that segues us into the next topic of Black Lives Matter, right? So I see stuff on Facebook. I have friends of all ethnicities on Facebook and in my life, and some of them say, "Well, all lives matter." And I will admit, in the beginning, years ago, when I first heard about Black Lives Matter, I didn't fully understand it. I had an idea of what it was about, but I think it really, really resonated more so than ever before in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So you had Mr. Blake, unfortunately, shot 7 times in the back. We don't really know the facts of what happened. We just know that there was an altercation with the police and he was shot, which was horrible. But it took place, and then we had the riots in Kenosha, and then we have a little boy. I'm gonna say a little boy, 17 years old, goes out in Kenosha, the streets of Kenosha, and shoots and kills 2 people. He shot off somebody's arm, just did all this craziness. And he's walking down the street saying, hands up, I did it. And the police are just driving past him. Whether they saw him, we don't know. Or did they intentionally let him go? We don't know. But I do know, and facts do state, he went home to neighboring Illinois, the state over, drove home, took a shower, slept, ate, and then got up the next morning and turned himself in. And they didn't beat him, they didn't shoot him, they didn't kill him. So for me, Black Lives Matter, that just hit home because it meant that no matter what Mr. Blake did, okay, whether he committed a crime or not, and I'm not condoning crime, don't get it twisted, but he, in my opinion, being shot 7 times in the back, he didn't murder anybody, but this little boy murdered somebody and was treated with dignity. So for me, that's what Black Lives Matter is like. Our lives matter. It's not that all the other ethnicities don't matter, but our lives matter. Treat us the same way as you would treat the others when they commit crimes. That's what it resonates for me. What are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter?
Good luck with that dream.
Oh, okay. Why you say
um
that?
Martin Luther King had a dream, and you know he died for that dream.
Yeah.
And we're reaping the benefits of his shedding of blood. Not to bring religious aspects in it, but sometimes there will be shedding. And with Black Lives Matter, yes, Black lives do matter. I'm concerned about my teenage child that is trying to drive now, and
Mm,
I have to teach him the important aspects of being in the classroom, being a Black boy in the
mhm,
classroom, um, especially in the county as to where I live, because it's known as a pretty racist county, especially towards African American children in the school system. So, you know, I have to teach him that his life does matter, but you have to really state that your life matters. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? You have to put some value into yourself and know who you are,
mhm,
so that you will know that your life does matter. Um, with all of the things that's transpiring with Black Lives Matter, though, I do have a little issue with that. I mean, Black Lives Matter, they're protesting and all of that stuff in that aspect. But the thing is, what happens after the protest? What happens when you
Mm-hmm.
start? What happens when you get upset? Yeah, Black lives do matter.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens after you get upset? What is the strategy? What is the thing as far as what you're going to do to make some changes?
Right, right, right.
Because for right now, all they're looking at is, oh, well, it's a bunch of people in the streets and they're tearing up the streets. And it's not the Black Lives Matter movement, but it is a part of it. If it, affiliation by association, they're tearing up stuff. And I'm just looking at from the hierarchy level. I'm not just looking at it, as far as the cause, understanding the cause. But the thing is, I had a cousin that tell me, yeah, Black lives do matter, but what's next?
What
What
are
are
we
you
gonna
gonna do?
do? Right,
What are you
right.
gonna do with
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it? Because he was saying, it's about money and it's about who you know and that's all it resonates to.
And you're
It's about
right, because the thing of it is let's say, for example, let's say you have a tennis shoe that we all buy. I'm not going to say any names, that we all buy, right? And let's say that for whatever reason they start giving money to a certain campaign to run for presidency that we don't agree with, right? So we boycott. They lose millions and millions of dollars. So then it shows, huh? Black Lives Matter. So you're right. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna vote? Are we gonna boycott? Within the law, we're not doing nothing illegal, but within the law, we need to show them that we do matter. You're absolutely right.
well, historically speaking, and I learned this from one of my coworkers, which was crazy. I was like, being that I am as mature as I am, coworker told me, she said that Martin Luther King, and she was one of my Caucasian sisters,
Okay.
but she was like teaching the kids like Martin Luther King had a strategy towards his march. It wasn't a
Yes.
march of being angry with anything.
Yes.
He basically was like, don't. eh, eh, She was saying this. Martin Luther King probably did want to hit, but they were being filmed.
Ah.
They were being filmed, so he didn't want it to look like they were being violent, because if you got people in the streets that's fighting against each other, then they're just gonna think that people are just fighting against each other. But
Mhm.
when you are having dogs attack and they're not doing absolutely nothing but marching, then
Mhm.
America saw where it was wrong.
Mhm.
So you have to have, Black Lives Matter, you have to have a strategy. To me, this is just my opinion. I ain't,
Mhm. No, no,
but
no.
you
I
have to have
agree.
a strategy. You have
Mhm.
to have a way of, and you have to have some type of purpose as to why you're going, what changes are you trying to make. And not even Martin Luther King, all of his stuff, it just was over time. What Martin Luther King died in 69, right?
68. Mm-hmm.
68,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my
Mm-hmm.
bad. Martin Luther King, he died in 68. Okay, when did we actually see that change?
Right.
Board of Education, they integrated the schools in the 50s. When did we really see that change?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would say we really saw the change in the 80s. But look at the time frame. I mean, look at
Right.
what's resonating. I,
Mm-hmm.
the Black Lives Matter movement, I am gun ho for it.
Mm-hmm.
But um it needs to be a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It needs, just like all of those people in Black Lives Matter, when they're marching out in the streets and stuff, I hope they be right there at the voting poll. The
Yes.
same people who are marching in the streets. I hope all of them sitting in the long line for 10 hours, taking off of work,
Thank
just
you.
like they did take off work at that particular time, and be sitting there in the
Yep.
voting polls getting ready to vote.
And not only
That's what
good,
I have.
absolutely, and not only, and one of the viewers said that we have to change the law. So, Carla, so what I would say to that is not only for president, but for your local. right? For the policymakers in your state.
Exactly.
Going back to Savannah, what, Ahmad, that was gunned down in Savannah. People say, well, how is it that in Georgia you can carry a gun and I fear for my life and this and the other? The laws were written that way. So the only way we can
Mhm.
change the laws is if we vote and put people in place that make the policies and the laws to change. So you right, girl. You right on. And Carla, that's how we make a
Yeah,
change.
be knowledgeable, not, and like you were saying, when you not only vote in November, but get knowledgeable about the local things that are
Yes,
happening within your community. Matter
absolutely.
of fact, I'm guilty of that, but get knowledgeable. Go to your local meetings in your community. Go
Absolutely.
to the meetings. They have monthly meetings. Go
Hmm.
to the meetings and just see what they're talking about things in your community. You will be shocked when you talk about Black Lives Matter. You're nowhere in that conversation.
Exactly.
Maybe
And somebody else just said in the comments, they said, get those jobs. So not only vote, but if you have it in you, why don't you run? Like one of
right.
the ladies here in Georgia, I'm not going to mention any names because Facebook might get me banned, but you'll know who exactly I'm talking about. Her son was shot sitting in a car playing loud music, and the guy in the car over, he told, it was they were going back and forth. He shot and killed her son. And what did she do? She ran for office, and she represents Georgia when she goes to DC. So if you feel like you've got it in you, run, make a difference. That's what we. And somebody else said here, protests cannot evolve into a riot. You have to hit wrongdoers in the pockets. Absolutely. That came from a viewer who said, basically hit them in the pockets. When people have to pay out money, they start to look. And you're right, Black lives do matter. Other than us just marching in the street, burning and tearing up stuff. Yeah, we mad. We absolutely mad. But take that energy and make a difference. Let's all get together and boycott something. Like I saw something on Facebook. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but one of the restaurant franchise owners, they contribute to a certain person running for the White House. And so a bunch of people said, don't go eat there because they give money to that candidate. So that's definitely what we got to do. We have to get together and show them legally, peacefully, that our lives do matter. Okay, so let's since we already touching on that topic, voting, and viewers, live audience members, you guys can dial in. I'm not gonna say the phone number because this is going to be pre-recorded, but if you look at the top of the Facebook live posting, I put the phone number. If you want to dial in and chime in, please feel free. So with voting, the other day, was yesterday and even today, somebody, I can't say his name, he actually said, vote by way of absentee ballot and double make sure and go vote in person as well. That is wrong. That's a felony. You can't vote twice. Like, what in the world? So that makes me think already that that individual and that party is setting things up to already try and steal the election. What you think about that?
I have to agree with you totally. Um, being that I am from Florida,
That
you know,
state years ago. Yeah.
and they decided to establish residency there, it's all it, you know, I guess they talk to each other and say, we're going to steal the vote, or I don't, but I don't necessarily, and I guess, yeah, you might get mad at me, but I don't vote just because I do vote for the people who I want to vote for, but I don't necessarily vote just because I want somebody to be in office. Because for right now, but I do vote because somebody died for me
Absolutely.
to vote.
Absolutely. All
So
races.
I there. I try to be there just to say that I'm here for that person who died to vote. I'm
Mhm.
practicing my right.
That's it.
So,
Hmm.
um, as far as voting is concerned, that is my thing. I go out there, I practice the right to vote. I signed up at the magnificent school of, well, let's just say the Rattlers. When
Okay.
I was 18 years old, when I turned 18 years old, I stood in that line in the gym and I practiced the right to vote
Hmm.
then.
Hmm.
And I don't even care who I'm voting for. I do care who I'm voting for, but I'm gonna stand in line and I'm gonna be voting
Hmm.
regardless
Absolutely.
because that's my right.
Absolutely.
That's my right.
Absolutely. And you
And
know, a
I may
lot of
not
people,
like the kid.
that's right. And a
I'm
lot of
sorry, I
people,
may not like the candidate I'm voting for, but
but
I'm
you're
gonna
still
practice my
voting.
rights.
Absolutely.
I'm
Definitely.
still voting.
And you know, not just black people died for the right for us to vote, but white people as well, right? So they
Exactly.
went through a lot. You know, they were, you know, R.I.P. John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis. You know, he was fractured skull and all of that. They went through a lot for us to vote. So you're absolutely right. If we can stand in line to get concert tickets and pre-pandemic and sneakers and God knows whatever else, we can stand in line to vote. You know, and as I said on my other show, you know, everybody should bring them folding chairs, bring some snacks, get comfortable. You know, download the app, one of the movie channels on your phone, watch a movie, get comfortable because it's so important for us to
Don't
vote.
forget your umbrella too.
That, yes. We don't want to get wet, right? Especially your
Because
sisters
it
with your
might be
hair.
raining. Umbrella and raincoat.
That's it. That's it.
And,
We
and your coat because it might be cold.
that you never know.
And
You
your
never know. Somebody said one of the viewers said that they're probably going to cheat like not ever before. They're going to probably even do stuff like pull up dead people and you know try to say that you know I know. And what we have to do is we just have to just stay diligent and just do our part and just pray on it and you know there's some things that he's done that makes me think he's the antichrist to be honest with you. I don't know, but anyway, I think that we definitely got to stand in line and vote because so many people are sacrificed. You know, my grandfather is 98 years old, and, you know, for him to live to see a black president was huge, you know, and to live to see us voting, you know, is huge. So you're right. For our ancestors, for those that died and were hurt, we've got to do it. We've got to do it, girl. So our next topic,
ain't
ooh,
nothing
what'd you
ain't
say?
nothing wrong with voting.
Nope.
There's nothing wrong with voting.
No, none at all. It's
It
nothing
just
but
takes a
time.
little time. It's nothing but time.
That's it.
And it's good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to stand in line or you want to mail in your absentee vote, you know, ballot, definitely do it. Definitely do it. It's huge. So this next topic is, ooh wee, this is near and dear to my heart. Myth or stereotype of the angry black woman. So, you know, I had always heard this. As you know, I did 28 years in corporate America, and I used to always hear rumblings of this title, but it really resonated and hit me when we have, again, we're not going to mention names, a particular person is running for candidate. She's a female, and we heard the other party say, oh, she's an angry black woman. And I thought, oh no. So let me tell you what I think about that and you chime in. So what I think is that it's a stereotype of black women. I don't agree that it exists to the level that they say that it exists. We as African American women, we get angry, we get frustrated just like other ethnicities do, women. And because we might be upset about something or what have you, it doesn't mean that we're the angry black woman. It just means that we get upset like a man do, right? We get frustrated like a man do. So for them to take it to a whole nother level is their way of putting that glass ceiling, preventing certain women from moving up or moving you know, to get to where they want to be in life, be it in their career, political career, what have you. And I don't think that it's fair for them to just say, okay, well, she's upset. Well, she's an angry black woman. Well, if somebody of another ethnicity got upset, what are you going to say? They're an angry black Chinese woman? No. So that title, they put that title on our former first lady, and I didn't like it, and I don't think it's right. It's just not a good stereotype. And we as African American women, what we've got to do is that when we do get upset or we do get frustrated, I think what we should do is work that much harder. I know this is going to sound bad and not everybody's going to agree with me, but I think we should work that much more harder to just don't display it. Wait till you get home and scream and yell and punch the punching bag or whatever you got to do. But when you at work or you're out among others, try your hardest not to even show the slightest bit of frustration. And some may say, well, that ain't cool. You ain't supposed to, just keep it in. No, you shouldn't keep it in. But I think because they already think that of us, let's not give them what they want. So that's just my opinion, being in corporate America for 28 years, just, showing that poker face, not wearing your feelings on your sleeve when you get home. Then if you roller skate, you kickbox, whatever it is, take it out on that and not buy into the stereotypic stuff. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, I have to agree with everything that you said, but who's angry? Who are they, who's angry? I mean, like really, I think that we're not really all that angry considering all the things in our past of what we went through.
Oh my God.
A black woman has
Slavery.
went through all
Yes.
through the slavery aspect and through what the white man has done to us, and to some degree what our men do to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not angry enough. But
Ooh.
I think that we not really angry. But
It's
I think we've been very calm.
You know, absolutely. In other words, somebody said once, if you think this is angry, this ain't nothing. Right, right. So, it's just their way of putting a stereotype on us to keep us down, you know,
Exactly.
keep us down. Let's see what some of the audience members have to say. Okay, somebody said you'd be angry too if someone killed your child, pay less on a job, troubleshoot for workplace. Absolutely. I totally agree. And B, you just said it. We're not angry enough. But, here's something else to think. You ever heard the term, let your haters be your motivators? So as the angry black woman,
Exactly.
what we should do is when things are done to us, let's boycott. You know what I'm saying? Boycott. Let's hit them in the pockets. Let's vote. Let take all that energy and that rage and vote. Like I mentioned the other person before early on when her son was brutally murdered in the car over loud music, she ran for office. Let's do that. Let's run for office. Let's make it count instead of just popping off or getting frustrated. Let's do something. Do something to show them that
Because
okay,
that's what
oh,
they want. That's
exactly.
what they want you to do is pop off.
Exactly.
That's the main thing that they want you to do is pop off. Please do,
Yeah.
so we can pop off for real. You see this? Did it look like a gun to you? Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, so we have to come back strong in a within the legal lawful ramifications, but we got to make it count. I think back to when women in the early 1900s, they couldn't vote, so what did they do? They protest. They did everything within the law to eventually get the right to vote. That's what we got to do. So yes, as mothers, I have a young son, a young man. He's grown and I worry about him too. So as these young men are gunned down and things happen to them, we have to rally around together and support each other and come up with ways to show them. Going back to Black Lives Matter again, yeah, we are angry black women because of what you've done to our children, to our sons, to our husbands, but we're going to show you within the law, right? We're gonna do that. We're gonna play the same game with you. We're not gonna play checkers no more. We're gonna play chess like you guys play chess, and we're gonna make a change. So that's definitely what we got to do.
you have to learn. You have to learn the game. You
That's
have to
it.
sit down, study, and learn the game.
Learn the game.
And a
Learn
lot
the
of
game.
times, a lot of times I would have to say, a lot of people don't want to sit down and learn the game.
Mm-mm.
I do not know how to play chess. And I will say that I'm guilty too. I don't know how to play chess. But chess is one of, and I don't know how to play golf. That's number one, chess. And number two is golf. Chess is a game of strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who are very highly intellectual, they play chess.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of business aspects and transactions happen where on the
On the
golf
golf
course.
course.
I don't know how to play
Boom.
golf. I don't know how to play chess either, but those are two things that I probably need to learn how to play.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the game of, the way they're doing things, need to learn to sit down and talk with other people about those games and how they're being played. Well,
Absolutely.
who's running an office in my particular area?
Mm-hmm.
And what are they all about? Let me Google them. Let me see what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying about them, and what is that office? Okay, like I
Absolutely.
tell my elementary children, you need to know the who, what, when, where, how, and why. There
Oh
you go.
yeah. There you go.
Who, when, where, how, and why. Write those things down
That's
and then
it.
see what you have to say as
That's it. That's it. And you brought up a good point because the bottom line is this is it goes back to this saying, if you're in the room and you're the smartest one in the room, leave the room. Go join a room where everybody
yes,
else is smarter, more successful. And
right,
one of the things I used to do when I was in corporate America, I used to sit and listen, right? I worked in a primarily white male industry, right? And I would sit and I would listen. And they say, "Hey, Drina," da, 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 and I would just listen to the conversations being made, to the stocks that they were buying, and where they were buying homes, and I would just listen and just soak it all in. And I think that's what we need to do, not only as African American women, but as African Americans, just people in general. If you want to strive and get better, listen, learn. And like you said, a lot of deals are brokered on that golf course. Definitely. You've got to surround yourself with positive people, knowledgeable people. If you want to become rich and successful and you want your business to grow, hang around people that have successful businesses. You know, be around people that are always talking the game. And that's one thing I love about you being my girl. We always have these in deep conversations. Like I'll tell you something, you go, you'll tell me something. And we always go back and forth. And that's what people need to do. Stop clouding your mind with just one thing or one subject. Talk to other people and see some of the intellects. Today, let me just share this with you too. Today, again, I'm not going to mention them names. This young man put a post up about my husband, and my husband and I, we were in awe about it because we didn't realize that this young man looked up to my husband like that. So this young man, he watched how my husband moved and the things that he did, and he says, "I look up to you." And that was huge. It was like, wow, we never thought of that. So, big ups to that young man because he's looking up to people that are doing the right things in life versus, somebody else that's not doing the right things in life. So, again, going back to angry black
somebody look up
women,
to Steve Harvey.
you can't supposed to say nothing.
Somebody look up to Steve
You can't say nothing. Y'all not married to Steve Harvey.
Harvey.
Steve, don't come get me. That's the nickname she had for this woman.
uh,
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna turn this last subject over to you because you are the educator, and this subject is coronavirus and schools. Girl, break it down. What are your thoughts on that?
Woo, coronavirus in schools. Uh, it's funny that you would say that because my son actually had a football game this at 7 o'clock, and they canceled the football game because the child caught COVID on his team. So yeah, so they well here in Cobb County they haven't been in school since March. So socialization with friends and kids coming over and him going over to other people's house has been a very daunting thing for him. In school, basically he's the only child, so school was the place where he could socialize and just get some things in socially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I could imagine, and we live in a fairly decent neighborhood, but I could imagine, the neighborhoods that I have previously serviced before, like Bankhead, Bankhead, the Cab, and a lot of people are going through, getting the Chromebooks out or getting the technology out to the children, and just it's been a real struggle, being that I am an educator. It's been a real struggle for students to, just be able to do assignments, getting adjusted to it, because when they got out, it wasn't really any type of training. Not even some things weren't even trained for the teachers.
Mm.
Like they stated before, one third of American teachers are 50 plus years old.
Wow.
One third,
Oh my goodness.
one third.
Ooh.
So that means that in the next 5 years or so, that's going to be a big chop.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's not the same intake of educators coming in. So a lot of people and parents are like, I just can't wait till these kids get back in school. I can't wait this and I can't wait that. Well, this may be a way of life, because you're not going to have too many people that's going to be in there,
Wow.
so yeah, that's what I'm saying. This may become, I mean, they're going back in,
Mm.
but COVID strikes, they're coming right back out again. So, and then, with it being that there aren't enough educators, school was basically made only to educate, and that's it. It was not made for anything else. It was not made to be resourceful for anything else. So I would just say that this, if you sometimes in society and what's going on now, this is a way of life. You need to get accustomed to the technological things and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Even us as teachers, we need to get accustomed to it, because we're not accustomed either. We're getting adapted to, the different programs and stuff. If you work in a particular county, you got to get accustomed to that program and what they're doing for their technology and their virtual aspects. So, I know you've heard of Google Classrooms, and some other people have various other different things, that they work with. You got to get accustomed to working with that stuff.
I see your chart back
So
there.
it may
Is that what you use for your class back there behind you?
Well, I use some of these as visuals, but I have
Okay.
to use like different PowerPoints and different programs and all of the other stuff too. So, it's more work to me.
Wow.
And I guess it's a little bit more work for the child too. And the other issues that we're having with the virtual learning platform is the kids at home.
Mm.
So, um, you got parents over there that's saying, sit your down. So serious. Some of the things that we see, I'm like, whoo. And even, I mean, we at home now. You can't control the environment, but
Yeah.
though you have various different aspects that's going on virtually.
Mm.
Even with the I'm a parent, and I'm looking into my child's class, and I'm really viewing how the teacher is talking to the students.
Mm.
Like, really?
Mm.
So this virtual platform, you need to get used to it.
Mm.
You need to be careful about what you're saying to your children. You need to
Oh.
get accustomed. You need you need to get accustomed to, how can I say, you need to get accustomed to really communicating with your people in the building.
Mm.
Make that social worker work. Make that counselor work.
Okay.
Make the lead people work. Get to know these people. Look at these people's pages. Make
Mm.
them work. Because if you don't, just like you need to get to know who you're voting for,
Hmm.
you need to get to know the educator, have a close connection with an educator, so that you can understand the different aspects, how to move on with what's transpiring.
Hmm.
So as far as the virtual platform you're asking me about, my summarization of what I think, uh, it's a lot. It's
Okay.
a lot. It's a lot. But you need to get accustomed to what's going on,
Hmm.
because this is a way of life that is probably not going away.
You have to make
And
it work best for you.
everything is about, yeah, everything is about funding for schools now. And so the kids go in the building, they come out. So the virtual platform will probably in the building as well as being out of the building. You need to get accustomed to it.
Okay.
And I would say within the next 20 something so years, that is going to be a way of life.
Mm.
Hmm.
That's deep. That's deep. Well, I value your
It is.
opinion. I value your opinion. You've been educated for 20 some odd years. So, girl, you right. On the money. I couldn't even imagine. My kids are grown. I couldn't even imagine trying to work from home and trying to help your child learn. But you're right. You're gonna have to make it work for you and your family, and get in there and find a system. And you're absolutely right. Put some of these counselors to work, tutors, what have you. Use the system as much as you can, help your child. Because at the end of the day, if your child's not growing, what does it say? So, yeah, girl. Well,
It says that you're a bad parent.
ooh,
It says that
ouch,
I mean,
ouch.
literally, if your child's not growing, that's because you're not putting anything into to them to grow. A
Mm-hmm.
flower can't grow unless you put it in a pot and water it.
Mm,
Same way about children.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're
Oh,
right.
and don't forget the fertilizer.
No, so silly. Well, I appreciate you coming on, girl. I love you to pieces, and we always have these deep conversations. The audience is on and popping, they chiming in and saying all kinds of things. Oh, one more thing. Somebody said, "What happens when the parents have to work outside the home?" That's a good one. That's a real good one. So, what do? You put all the kids together in one house, and woo, what?
Oh, I feel your pain,
Ooh.
because that's what we as admin that's what we as administrators and teachers were talking about today. Like this lady, I called her. I was like, "Why is Johnny not in the classroom?" And she was like, "Cause I have to work and they have to come with me."
Oh.
So
Wow.
there's nothing that I could say. But and then yeah, I know I can't afford daycare right about now, where you can send them in the schools that's going to help them. But
Mhm.
I do know that I need to look at it on my cell phone, and I sent it to you. There is a program where Georgia is actually giving scholarships to help you come have your child come to a particular daycare or a particular program. They're sponsoring programs, and
Mm.
it's free depending on your
Oh.
economical level. And I think the kids have to be between kindergarten to sixth grade. So that's something that would maybe will help you. So
Absolutely.
I
Send me
sent that
we
to
can post
you,
that in the
so
comments.
you
Yeah.
can upload that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can upload
Okay.
that on the comments. So that's something that if you're interested, and that will help. And it may be between state to state. I don't know,
Hmm.
but I know specifically for Georgia, my good friend told me about this program. So I sent that to you, and
Okay.
hopefully you can upload it and put it there, and that'll help for those of you who definitely have to hustle and get that get that paper.
Well, thank you, B, for coming on. I will make sure to put that in the comments. Girl, I love you, your insight, your intellect, all that.
I love you too. Love your viewers. Hi, everybody. Now let me do the wave.
You're so
Hello,
silly.
everybody.
Well, we'll be talking, and thank you so much for coming on Let's Talk. You are welcome to come on anytime. So, girl, you keep on educating our
Okay.
children. We appreciate you so much. We do. Okay.
All righty.
We'll be
Y'all
talking to
take
you
care.
soon. Okay. Bye bye. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw, my good friend B, she came on to have some in-depth conversations with us about some of the things that are going on in hot topics and what's going on in the world. And she always has an awesome, awesome way of looking at things. And I appreciate her so much, and being an educator that she is just phenomenal. So thank her once again for coming on. I don't know why we're having technical difficulties. I'm trying to disconnect her, but for some reason Zoom, I don't know if they are going through something again or not. But anywho, there we go. Finally got that off. So, thanks again, you guys, for tuning in. I just want to share one last thing with you, a positive nugget, as I always end the show out with. And I was going through, I read my scriptures every day, and I read one scripture that came across to me today in the Bible, and it was from Romans, the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 10. And I was thinking, how can I motivate my audience? And the scripture came up, and it says, love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. So basically, what that means to me, my interpretation, I'm no minister, but what that means to me is no matter what's going on, no matter the craziness, the politics, what somebody might say, somebody might still love on your neighbor. Still love on your neighbor. Just still love on your neighbor, because at the end of the day, God sees everything. And, we living in crazy times, and that's the best thing you can do. And I think if God sees your heart and you loving on everybody and you're still being kind to everybody, you're still opening the door, you're still paying it forward, God will see that, and he will definitely bless you. So have a blessed, safe, fun Labor Day weekend. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. And with that, I'm out. I love you guys as always, and feel free to tune in next week on Let's Talk. You can purchase my books on www.dtlproduct.net, on Amazon. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to my YouTube channel listed under Let's Talk with author Dre Lett. Thank you guys. Love you. Bye bye.